guest speaker of
Recording in
so,
progress.
Sharma. So he will be discussing about the Dynamo part in their project, right? So and then we will be moving on with the demo session. So first of all, so good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prakriti Goyal, and I'm working in Capricorn as BIM Specialist Architecture. Now, first of all, let's discuss about the company first, our company. Right. So first of all, Capricorn is an Indian like leading. So it is actually like a global alliance, global company. So our main motto is we help our customers unleash the ideas to create a better world. We are since 1987, and like approx like 20,000 more customers we have. Right. So as a like now Capricorn is now an Arcans company. So like Arcans is a building a network of world leading partners with platforms to deliver a portfolio of solutions. So like in the global line, so we have three departments, like one is Americas, EMEA and APAC. Right. So now let's so welcome you all to the today's workshop, harnessing the power of Dynamo for design documentation. Right. So first of all, if I talk about Dynamo, so how Dynamo is formed, like why do we need Dynamo? What is a Dynamo? So actually, like if I talk about the BIM platform, so like some of you might have used Revit. So in Revit we actually go for parametric design. Now parametric design contains what? So different parameters. So if I'm developing a BIM model, we are providing certain profile, like certain properties, like changing wall materials, changing door materials, door sizes, right? So those parameters are used for modifying your BIM, like BIM data, BIM model, right? So computational is actually a next level of parametric design, which involves a computer language. So if I talk about in layman terms, so one is you are the user, so you are the human, like you are providing human intelligence, so you are actually taking the design related decision, plus the computer algorithms, computer languages will be involved in this, which consists of computational design. Now, if I elaborate it in in let's say in proper terms, so computational design actually is the application of computational strategies to the design process. Now, what is computational strategies? So it is actually process of taking design related decisions using computer language. So over here, computer language is involved. Now, why architects, engineers, and designers need this computational design to actually go for like different algorithms, computations, and like calculations, and developing certain different complex forms, right? So now, if I talk about in real terms, so computational design, like where actually computational design is used. So now, if I talk about in real context, so this is your dynamic facade. So, like over here, let's say Kaifa Technique showroom has certain electric controls over like before, which actually calculates the sun direction. So, according to that, the facade actually works. Similarly, Brisbane Airport has the facade which checks the wind energy, so like wind direction. So that is why like the workflow, like the facade actually works. So in Al Bahar Tower, we have PTFE panels. Again, it works as the climate responsive. So like you can see, according to the sun direction, it changes, right? So these are your basic, like these are your examples how computational design, like the computer is helping to to calculate the sun path direction. So one of the main important building is one like kinetic facade. So One Ocean by Soma Architects in Korea, right? So this is actually like how the dynamic facades actually work. So computational design is not only used for dynamic facade, it is used for computations, for like generally we can say design related decisions. Let's say if you are going for the working drawings, if you are going for the schedules and quantities, if you are going for the complex structures like stadium and all, if you are designing them, right? So all over wherever we require computational um, computer intelligence or like computer help, like computer language algorithm, wherever we need, so computational design is that. Now if I talk about the programming, the language that I'm talking about, computer language, so there are two types. So one is your text based programming. So one is your text-based programming, and because we are going for the computational design, so text-based programming is just like the example, like how web pages are based, like how web pages are created. So we'll have a different syntaxes, right? So that is your text-based programming. Now for computational design, visual programming is necessary. Now visual programming is like this. So as you can see visually, like we have different rectangular boxes which perform certain tasks. So let's say if I talk about in over here, one is Excel file path. That means you are choosing the file path. So visually you can actually perceive like uh, you are actually talking about a file path, a file like you are browsing a file of the Excel, right? Over here you can see we are importing the information in Revit. So import Excel, right? So this is like how you are visually like how you are visualizing, right? So this is actually a visual programming. Now if I go into that much detail, so visual programming tool, like let's take an example. So if I talk about as an architect or maybe engineer, so you like in any stage, like you have created paper models, like maybe origami or like in architects we actually in architecture college, so we actually provide like create models also, right? So if you are developing a crane paper model, so we have two type of instructions. So one is your textual instructions, and one is your graphical instructions. So in some cases people will go for textual instructions, or in some cases like they go for graphical instructions. So for me, like I prefer graphical instructions. So like why I do that, because I can just go for the uh it is actually graphical representation. So according to that, I can develop the paper model, right? So visual programming is just like that only. So you are actually developing a program, like you are developing a script visually, like so that you can take a better design related decision, right? So visual programming tool is called Dynamo, where architects, engineers, and designers will be developing, like will be using uh, Dynamo for algorithms, for developing complex structures, right? So it is actually useful for all the computational design. Now, if I talk about like what is Dynamo, so first of all, Dynamo is a tool that provides graphical access to the programming interface. Uh, it is not that difficult, so any person who has not any background of the like programmers, like if they haven't used any programming scripts, if they if they know certain programs like C++ or any visual scripts, right? If they know, or if they don't, they can use them, they can use Dynamo very easily. Now Dynamo provides actually visual approach to the programming, best suited for architects, engineers, and other designers. Now it has different applications. So Dynamo is not a part of Autodesk. It is a separate. So it actually is now as a built-in plugin in the Autodesk software. So one is your so we have different applications, different tools for like Dynamo. So one is your sandbox, which is like open source, which is free version with limited amount of functions. Now we have Dynamo Revit. So if you are using like if like in previous session in previous versions, Dynamo like till 2019, like you had to download it from the website. So website is separate, like dynamobim.org is the website. So from there you have to download it. But over here, like if I talk about like uh, the new versions, so from 2020 onwards, the Dynamo is now inbuilt, right? So we have Dynamo for civil 3ds if you are developing the infrastructure, like infrastructure, or maybe roads and all projects, right? Dynamo for format if you are going for the complex geometries, like conceptual designs, right? Dynamo for advanced steel, right? Now the main thing is, because you are developing the BIM model in Revit, and now we are using Dynamo for what purpose? Like for modifying that BIM model according to the design changes. So we are updating that BIM model according to the design stages, right, throughout the life cycle of the project. So why we are using Dynamo for Revit? So first of all, it actually accesses and modifies BIM model data. So if I talk about accessing, like in Revit, we actually access any other maybe like what amount, like what type of walls we have created. If we are accessing these information, so through schedules, we access them. But direct linking, like we cannot export schedules uh, directly, like in Excel. So by default, it is CSV format. So whenever we change anything in BIM model, we have to extract, we have to export the schedules again and again, and like it will be a huge repetitive task. So to minimize that, we actually use Dynamo. Dynamo creates a link between Revit and Excel. So what happens, like if you have certain information in Revit which is changed, so it will be updated in Excel. And if from the like vendor, like some other informations like in the Excel is updated, it will be updated in Revit as well. So Dynamo will help in linking between these two things, like your Excel as well as your Revit file. Next, automated repetitive tasks. So whenever you develop a BIM model, whenever you develop a project in Revit, so first of all, different repetitive tasks actually consume very much time. So first of all, if I talk about in the starting project, so we start with the level creation, right? So again, uh, e- each and every time whenever you start the project, so your levels needs to be created for developing your model, right? Now levels can be automated through Dynamo. Same, grid to grid dimensions, that is the most important thing for working drawings. So annotative elements are view based, as you all know, like as you some of you know. So grid to grid dimensions needs to be there in each and every working drawing, each and every plan. So that is a repetitive task which consumes lot of time while developing working drawings. So to minimize that, we can use Dynamo. Similarly to that, different sheets creation. So if I talk about completing a project, up to 100 sheets we require, right? So one sheet can take maybe like 1 hour or maybe 2 hour or more than that, right, to compose it as well. So through Dynamo, we can actually conserve our time. So we actually automate the sheet creation part, right? So automated repetitive tasks. So any, like if you are developing it for one project, let's say if you are developing for residential project, so same script, same program will be used for other projects like commercial, like your infrastructure projects, right? So everywhere you can use the same script. You don't have to create again and again, right? Now, generative design, again, like generative design is actually part of your uh, Dynamo. So it involves AI, artificial intelligence, which give you suggestions according to the design brief. So let's say if you are like if you want furniture layout for maybe workstation, like for office area, right? So generative design will give you many, like several options for furniture layouting, and like you can actually choose one, and that will be implemented in your project. Right? So it is actually like giving you more and more like suggestions according to your design brief. So if you are going for office, like where we have maybe 20 people, and like the distance of the furniture should be like maybe 2 feet distance, right? So like according to the design briefs that you provide, so according to that, your like generative design will give you some like suggestions, right? And then compliance check. So you can check your BIM model with the building codes. So if your building, like if your BIM model is accurate, like is there any violation of building codes or not? So to check that, we can go for compliance check through Dynamo, right? So these are the uses that like we actually go for, like why Dynamo is required. So for more detail, I'll be inviting our guest speaker. So over here we have a guest speaker, Mr. Gagan Sharma. So he is currently working as a BIM manager and BIM expert at Freshman Prabhu Private Limited. With over 13 years of experience in architecture and BIM field, he has worked on international projects and let's say Delhi Metro Phase 4 in New Istan Airport, Mall of Oman. Right? He has worked with reputed companies like Acom, Jacobs, DMRC, NCRTC, and he has held various roles such as BIM architect, senior BIM specialist, BIM coordinator, BIM expert, BIM manager. Mr. Gagan is an enthusiastic BIM professional who enjoys exploring new things in this field. So now over to you, sir. So kindly share the knowledge upon us on the BIM, on the Dynamo part, right? So thank you, sir. Over
Yeah,
to
thank you, Prakriti. So I'm sharing my screen. So as Prakriti told, Dynamo is very useful in the current scenarios. Like we have limited times, so Dynamo is like automations the things in BIM. So I have like explained some basic scripting in Dynamo. So these are the topics which I have explained to you. So first is how to add informations in the title block by Dynamo script. Second, how to control visibility of images by Dynamo. Third one, how to reduce interference errors by Dynamo script. Use of Dynamo player and Dynamo packages. So I will start from topic one. So in our Revit model, we have submit our submissions in title block. So in title block, we have filled many informations like project name and title, client name, drawn by, checked by, date, scale, project stage. So if I do manually, we can fill all the informations at once through Dynamo script. So I have created a script. So this is the script. So I will explain how to work like this. So first of all, these are the nodes. So we have used this node categories. So in this category, we have used the category sheets. So we have used the another node, all elements of category. So we have connected this category to all elements of category. So we have like captured all the categories of sheets in the project, which we have used. So when the third node is, so when we connect all the categories of the sheets, we have connect this category to our element dot get parameter value name. So in this node, we have like two inputs, element and parameter name. So we have connect this element node to our element value by name parameter. By this, so we have captured all the parameters of that sheet which we have created in our Revit model. And and for this parameter name, we have used a string node. So in Dynamo, there is a node for string in which we have used alphabetically or numerical. So for we have used this string node, and in that node we have typed the same parameter name which we have used in our Revit model. Like for date, I have used a parameter name date. So I have connected that node to this parameter name. Same as for the second one, I have used the same string as revision, which is connected to the same get parameter value by name node with the parameter name. And third one is project stage. So after these steps, we have come to the next step is elements dot set parameter by name. It means like we have uh, we have control all over these three parameters, but what the value we are like given in. So we have used the node which is element dot set parameter by name. So in this node we have like three inputs. First is element, second is parameter name, and third one is value. So in element, we have connected the same element which have used earlier for this get parameter value by name. So we have connected this to element node. Parameter name, so we have connected the same parameter name which have used in the Revit model. And for value, we have used the string which there's an input. So we have used a separate string in which we have used the input, like what we are like given in the date, revision, and project stage. So when we make these scripts, next to so when we make these scripts, so there's an option for make a input. So these three are the nodes for inputs. Input means like we are changing these according to time. Like if I submit any submission to today, or if I am submit the same submission after modification in the next stage or next week. So we can modify these date in the same script, not to create the scripts again. So for this, we have make all three nodes as a input, which I have highlighted here. So when we create these inputs, if you see in title block, all the dates, project stage, and revision number is modified. And when we create all three as a input, it shows in the Dynamo player as a input. In Dynamo player, there's a two options, input and output. So when we create any nodes as an input, so it shown in Dynamo player as an input. So next time when we change the date, project stage, revisions, or anything, so we can just modify it here in Dynamo player, not to modify our script. So this is the first one for add information in the title block. Second one is how to control the visibility of any image. Like in title block, we have used the signatures of like client signatures, HOD signature, project manager signatures to submit of any submissions. So in every submissions, there is not required for signatures or all member signatures. Like for internal submissions, like we have used the team manager signature or our project manager signature. But with submission to the external client, we have used the interdiscipline signatures or like our HOD signatures, client signatures. So we have like many signatures which we have put in the title block. So for every time, like we have not to use the different title block or not to uh, control the signatures to how can we put these signatures on a title block. So we can make a script for control the visibility of image. Like in Revit, there is an option for visibility yes or no parameter. So that's like there is an option in Dynamo also. So this is the script for controlling the visibility of any image. So here also the same thing. Like first of all, we have used the node for category. So the signature we are putting in is title block. So it's a family. So we are using the category title block. And next step is all category, all elements of the category. So we have connected this category to all elements of the category. And then element dot get parameter value by name. So we have connect these element to this node. And for parameter name, so we have used the same parameter name which we have used in that image or in our Revit model, like signature. I have added a same name as a signature. So same process, set parameter value by name. So we have connected this element to element, parameter name by signature, and there is a different option for value. So like yes or no parameter in Revit, there is an option for Boolean in Dynamo. So in Boolean, there is a true or false option. So if true means like it's image on and false means it's off. So we have connected this node to our value. So when we connect this node here, so if you show, when we connect this false, so it shows black. When we connect it to yes or true, it's like visible the image. So when we connect this or when we make this as an input also, Boolean, I will make this input also. So in our Dynamo player, so it shows like a switch here, like true or false. So for every time, like if we require the image, so we can just click on this true, or if we not require the image, then we just click on the false. So not need to make the script like every time or repetitive task. So it's like saving our time. And the next one is how to reduce interference errors in our model. Like if you see, there's an option in Revit itself, like you will check errors or clashing reports. There's a interference option here. So I have just created a sample model. So in this model, if you show there is a report like floor, walls, and ceiling. If you show this report, so they it means like floor is clashing with walls and walls is clashing with ceiling. If you see also the ceiling is clashes with walls and walls is clashing with floor because the walls is beyond to this floor also. So by use of this script, so there's a script which you have selected the categories like floor, walls, and ceiling, and we have connected all the categories to its the all elements of category. Like floor is connected to this, walls is connected to all elements of category of this node, and same as ceiling. There's the option in Dynamo like list. If we have like many nodes in Dynamo, we have merged all the nodes in a single list. So like we have list out many items to combine in a list. So same as we have combined all three nodes in a single list. So there's a node for list dot join. So I have connected this all three nodes in this list and make a single list. And there is a node for join geometry. So when we connect this node to join geometry, if you see and click on run, so if you see the result, so there is a no interference detected. So it means like all the clashes, all the interference errors are like cleared. No interference detect is found for this node like join geometry. This is not a by default or inbuilt in Dynamo. There is a package like I have highlighted also. It's a hot gear package, which I have which we have found this node join geometry in the hot gear. So in Dynamo, there's a like other packages also like clockwork rhythm. So we have used all the packages as per our requirement. So this is the script for reduce the errors. And the next one is Dynamo Player. So what is Dynamo Player? Dynamo Player act as a music player. Like we have so many individuals scripts which we have collected in a folder, and that folder we have linked to our Dynamo Player. So when we use all the scripts in any project, we just click on that folder through Dynamo Player and run that scripts in our project. So I am showing you. So this is the Revit interface. In Manage, Revit in Manage, there is a Visual Programming tab. So in Visual Programming, there is a Dynamo Player. When we click on Dynamo Player, it's open like this. So in earlier versions of Revit, there is an option for adding more than one folder in Dynamo Player. But in the latest version of Revit, there is an option we can add multiple folders in Dynamo Player from this plus sign. So when we add, if you see here, there is a folder like practice and there is a folder for Dynamo. So I have added two folders. So in practice folder, I have like three scripts. In Dynamo folder, I have like so much scripts. So according to our projects, we just drop down this arrow and select that folder and click on the script. So it's like work. So if you see this first one, so it's a detailed view. If you see the second one, it's a list view. So these are the two types which our script shown in Dynamo Player. And if you see here, there's a triangle mark. It means like it's a play button or it's a run button. So when we click on that, so our dynamic Dynamo script is run. And there's a pencil. It's a edit. When we click on that pencil or that edit button, so it's go directly to our Dynamo when where make our scripts. So when we click on that, or if you need any editing in Dynamo script, so we just click on this and it's go directly through our editing mode. Or when you click on this name, like I click on this automatic sheet creation, when I just click on this name, so it's if it is any input in this script, like I have shown earlier, so it's open that. Like if I am click on this if any of this script, so it's open like this, like it has like inputs. Like I have shown earlier, like boolean, there's an input for true or false, and there's an input also in title block script, like date, project, stage, and revision. So when we click on name of any scripts, if it has like input, so it's shown that input window, or it hasn't like this any input, so it's not open any window. So when we click on this edit mode, so it's gone directly to our edit mode, or if we click on this play button, so it's run the script in our project. So that's it, the Dynamo Player. And for Dynamo packages, so it's a collection of custom nodes which we use as per our requirement. As I said earlier, like we have like so many Dynamo packages which we have used as per our requirements, or every Dynamo packages has a unique thing to use. So like hot gear has, I have used the hot gear for clashing or clearing the interference check. So the basic and most common Dynamo packages are like Archilab.net, hot gear, clockwork, rhythm. These are some famous and common Dynamo packages which we have used in like Dynamo or in any projects. Yeah. Over to Prakriti.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Like, thank you, sir. So for like as sir discussed, so how Dynamo can be used in like various cases. So if I talk about in documentation, sheets are important thing, right? And the sheet signature as well as the sheet information, like the date and the like if it's good for construction, right? So all these informations are necessary in the title block. So title block is the base, and over there you have to like set your compose your sheets, like compose your views, right? So if you are creating a title block, you have to update it according to the requirements. So Dynamo will help you in the like modifying it, like in the automating that task, right? So so now let's see the demo part, like how Dynamo will be used for documentation point of view. Like if I talk about working drawings, right? So one example, Gagan sir showed you, like the sheets, the title block, right? And the second example we'll discuss in today, in this demo session. So there are various like ways you can use Dynamo for documentation point of view. So let's go for. So I'll be sharing it. sharing screen. Okay. So first of all, the important thing for Dynamo, this one, the last thing. So uh, Dynamo is based on computer language. So whatever we as a human taking the decision, right? So let's say if I talk about length of the door, width of the door, height of the door. So for that we know like what we are talking about. So but computer language doesn't understand that type of language, so we have to break it down to computer language. So data type is actually a format for computer language. So for data types, like for text based information, like for like us, we have description, we have comments, we have mark. So that is your text based information. So like if we convert it down to computer language, so string is used for text based information. If I'm talking about number of columns, number of furnitures, right? So number of elements, right? So that is your non-decimal numbers, that is your integers, right? And let's say length, height, volume, area, so those can be decimal numbers as well, right? So for us those are like areas and volume, but for we need to convert it down to computer language. So that is your double, right? And list of elements, like list of walls that you have created in your project, list of doors, so number of doors you have created, it will come in list, right? And boolean is like true and false. Like in Revit we have visibility, right? Visibility of Gagan sir, as Gagan sir told, like in images, like if you are providing any image and if you provide it as a visibility parameter, so it will go for yes or no parameter, right? So if we convert it down to boolean, that means it will be a true and false in computer language, right? So this is your main data types. Like this is the important thing while working with the Dynamo. So let's come to Revit part. Now we are taking the sample project over here. So because we are development, like we are focusing on main documentation, right? So how to provide grid to grid dimensions, or like what else we can do with Dynamo for the drawing perspective, like for maybe working drawings, presentation drawings, right? So let's discuss it. So first of all, over here you can see we have the room tags, like room tags, which are in the sentence case. Like we can say one first letter is actually larger, like in uppercase, right? But if we want to update it, so if I want to update in uppercase, so I have to write it again. So let's say for lounge. So I have to update it at one go, like like if I want to modify it, so like it will be a complete difficult task, right? So it's a huge task and repetitive task also, which consumes a lot of time. So can we use Dynamo for this? Yes. So you can use Dynamo for uh, like uh, yeah, for you can change the text size of the project browser, like your views, your any tags, door tags, your room tags, right? So let's see how this actually works for Dynamo. So I'll go for like Control Z. First of all I need to open Dynamo. So let's go to Manage tab, Visual Programming Panel, and Dynamo. So we will be creating the script for making the like making the text size, maybe uppercase or lowercase, or maybe title, right? So we can change their like cases, right? So let's open the Dynamo. So when you are opening the Dynamo for the like for the uh let's say for the first time, or maybe for specific days, after specific days, so like it might take time, right? So let's see. So this is your homepage of Dynamo where we can create the new scripts. You will have the recent scripts over here and the like sample scripts which are downloaded when you download Revit. And you can actually refer the tutorials, refer to the primer over here, and like getting starting videos. And because Dynamo is a computer language, so Dynamo is visual programming tool which consists of terminology. So different terminologies. So while creating a script, you have to learn certain terminology. So Dynamo dictionary is actually useful for that case, right? So let's create a new script for making the text size, like text case change, right? So in that case, I need to just select the room. So over here, if I select the room, we have that room name over here that we need to change, right? So what I need to do, I need to select the room. So two ways, like in two methods, we can modify the BIM model. So first is, so if I, so first is, so like first is we have to modify the Revit model. So first we'll actually select the Revit element, select the Revit element and convert it to Dynamo geometry. That means, like if I talk about geometry, means like solid geometry, mesh, surface. Those are your geometries like curve, line, polyline. In like in AutoCAD we have polyline. So in Dynamo we have polycurves. So first, first we will be converting the Revit element to Dynamo geometry. Right? Next, the second method is to modify any uh, building, like modify any building elements properties, parameter, like parametric information of an element. So in both case, you have to first select the Revit element. So in this case, I'm selecting the category that is rooms, right? So if I go for category, so again we have this rectangular node that is has certain specific like rectangular box which has certain specific functions. So if I go for categories, this is the rectangular box which is called node. NODE. So nodes are actually helping you to create the scripts. So we will be creating the script over here. So let's select the rooms over here. So I have selected the rooms. Now I need their name. So like all the elements, like all the instances of categories should be selected. So over here, I'll select the node again of the like for selecting all the instances. Right. So I'm selecting this. I'm connecting over here. So we need category for this node. So you can see how many rooms are there. 91 rooms are there in your project. Now we need to see their names. Like we need to right now, we are seeing the only like room letter, like room words. So I need each and every room name should be there. So I can just go for their name. So room name we can go for. like this.
So you can see we have right now all the rooms which has the first letter capital, right? So we need to make it like all the words to be like uppercase, right? So either you can use room name or just element name, element dot name. Same way, right? Now what we need to do, we need to make it capitalized, like uppercase. So I can just go for
Uppercase. So if you don't know the terminology of each and every node, you can just provide the keyword, right?
so you can go for two uppercase. So like over here, uh like what is the difference between these two? So change case means you have like different like scenarios, like if you go for like upper like lower case or uppercase, so it will do both the things. Like if you have words in uppercase, so this node change case will do the like all the words will be in lowercase and vice versa. So this change case will do both the things, like it is actually multi-purpose, right? So let's go for only string to upper. I'll select the string. Now you can see over here in the preview, all the letters are actually in capital. Now we need these information in Revit. So again, the second method, like we are modifying the room name over here, a parametric information of a room. So in this case, what we will be using a parameter which is used for modifying we will be using a node for modifying a parametric information, that is element dot set parameter by name. Set parameter by name because you are modifying it. So you are setting the value over here, right? You have to first provide the element. So Revit element, parameter name, the parameters that you have in your Revit. So it is actually case sensitive and space sensitive. So whichever information is there in Revit, you have to provide the exact parameter name over here, and the value will be this one, right? So the element will be your rooms and the parameter name will be room name. So I'll go for string. So again, parameter name. So for me, like for us, it is like room name is actually parameter name, right? So over here, room like name over here is parameter name for us. Like, but for computer language, it is called string. It is actually text. So string is the data type. So I can go for string keyword, and you can see the top over here. Top node will give you the detail, like top is your node name string where you will be providing text, right? So let's go for the name over here, right? I'll just connect it over here. So you can see, so wherever we have the room names, so everything is now updated. Similarly, when in every floor, like in your entry level one, so this is actually second floor. So in entry level also the updations have been created, like you can see, right? So same script, like I have created one script for the like for this rooms, right? Now the same script I can use it for multi-purpose, like I can provide the upper cases for views, right? So for that we can create, like we can convert it to Dynamo player worthy script. So for Dynamo player worthy script, like you need to provide input and output, like just like Google Forms, like whenever you like when you have registered the uh, this webinar, right? So you had a form, right? So those information you had to provide, and output was the like the link, the webinar link. So again, we will be providing the Dynamo play worthy script. So for that, we need to rename certain nodes according to, let's say, select a Revit category. So we need to like define it so that any other person who is working with this script, who is playing this script to different project, can easily do it. So if I talk about in firms, so there will be a one dedicated person who will be creating the Dynamo script, or you will get the Dynamo script from the different consultant. But the main thing is to play the script, to run the script. So Dynamo player actually helps in that case. So let me save this. So what I'll do, I'll just save it over here. So this will be like uppercase, text uppercase, Dynamo player worthy. Right? So once I did this, now what I need to do, I need to rename certain notes and make it as an input. So over here, you are selecting the category. So right now, this is small script. But if you have the large script, so you can actually manage it through groups. So I can just select them and right click on it and just go for create group, and you can provide the text size, like text heading. So this will be like selecting Revit element. Right now over here, if you select, this is the category that we have selected. So we like this is considered as an input. So first of all, if I double click on it, you can rename it. So let's rename this as select a category. Right now, I can, if I right click on it, we have two options like is input and is output. Is input means as a user, as an architect, as a designer, as an engineer, we are providing input. So category, selecting a category is also an input, right? So I'm selecting this, right? Next, over here, this is like selecting the element name. So I'm just deleting the room name right now. So we have this element name, and let's change this to change like case, right? So, like over here, you can see true to convert to uppercase, false to convert it to lowercase. So over here, you need Boolean. So if I go for Boolean, so we have in true and false, right? So let's go for that. Right? I'll select this. I can connect it, and Boolean is like again the user input. Like, do you want your text to be uppercase or lowercase, right? So over here, I can just go for is input and rename this as. So again, like whenever you rename any node, it will tell you that your node has been renamed, and when you hover on any node, it will give you the original name as well, right? So right, once this is done, now I'll go for string. String will be the value, and your name. This is your parameter name. So I need to select the parameter name as well. So parameter name, like parameter name is variable, right? So again, we have to make this as an input, and we need to rename this so that if any person will be playing the script, again, it will be helpful for them to provide the input, right? So this will be specify a parameter name. Right. So now let's save it and let's close it. Right. Let me check if I have provided the input first. It should be his input. And we can provide output as well. So watch node will be the preview option. So watch node is always a preview, right? So this, so it can be your output, right? So let's save it and let's play it in Dynamo player. Right. So if I go for Dynamo player, okay, so you can see this is your playlist. So we can create a playlist in terms of folder, and wherever your folder is, wherever you have provided your script, so all will be linked over here through these tools. Like you can actually browse, like link to the uh, folder from here, browse to folder. So over here we have text uppercase Dynamo player. So I'll go for edit inputs. Now I need to select the category over here. So let's say if I open the property like project browser as well. So over here we have project browser. These are your views. So I can just select the views over here, right? So views, and I can just go for view name, right? I'll go for yes, and let's play the script. So you can see what will happen. So it will go like it will tell you to confirm, like do you want to rename the current spending level or not. Let's click on yes. So over here you can see, like from over here in Dynamo player, you can actually provide the inputs over here. Right. So it is running. So your syntax, your everything needs to be correct. So it is actually case sensitive and space sensitive. So I'll repeat this once again. So first of all, if you see over here in the manage tab, virtual programming panel, we have Dynamo player. So in Dynamo player, like we can create the scripts. So over here, if you open that Dynamo player, this is your playlist, right? So this is your playlist. So if I go to browse folder, so you can actually link the folder where you have all the scripts loaded, scripts created. Now we have this text uppercase Dynamo player, right? So we have two options: either go for edit inputs or go for a edit in Dynamo. So let's go for edit inputs. Right. So right now, if I go for yeah, so now right now let's go for views. So I'll change it to view name. Let's click on yes and let's play it. So let's click on no for the timing, so that I just want my project browser to be changed. Mm. So let's go for yes, right? Hello? Yeah, so let me check again. So yeah, you can see over here that everything is done, right? For views, right? For schedules, you have to like again select the category. Right? So this is how you play the script, right? So in similar cases, like we have created several scripts for grid to grid dimensions. So let's go to that second flow and play that script. So I'm opening the Dynamo first. Right. So let's go for level 2, second flow, right? And because over here we need like center to center dimensions, like grid to grid dimensions. So over here I just need to play that script. So we have already created for the for the demonstration. So I'm just opening it over here. Right. So over here first we have selected the grids, right? And again, like we have converted it to dynamo geometry, that is line work, and provided their dimensions, right? Like their like we have horizontal and vertical grids, right? So that is why like we have like considered their directions, like in terms of like if I talk about in mathematical terms, vector, right? So we need to place dimensions, so we have the by default node for the like in Revit, right? And bounding box means like we have in the like crop box in Revit. So bounding box is like that, like it which particular like we are bounding the view, right? So if I run the script, so you can see your center to center dimensions are here. We just need to move it over here. So you can see in particular view, right? Whichever is the active view, you just need to run the script. Right? So you can see in the plan, we have provided the center to grid to grid dimensions in plan. If we are going for the elevation, so similar case, because in elevation we need vertical grid, like we have vertical grids, right? So in that case, I just need to open the elevation, and we have created the same script for like elevation in sections, like if you have grid, so grid to grid dimensions if we need. So we have only just like we have provided, like we have selected only the vertical grids in this case, right? So same script, but again, we have selected only vertical grids. So if I run the script, so you can see again, like we have provided the uh, dimensions. So dimensions are there. So in no time, you can see we have created all the working drawings. Again, uh, like you can create internal elevations as well. So if you have rooms in your project, right, and if you are developing internal elevations for each and every room, right, so in that case also you can do one thing. You can actually go for again, like we have several rooms in projects. So if we are creating elevations in one go, uh, like it will be a tedious job. So we can actually go through, like go with the Dynamo. So over here in this case we need packages. So like packages are like, again, just like Gagan sir discussed, so packages help you creating the extra like advanced scripts. So over here you can actually see we have all the packages that we need, which is like common, right? As well as like the hot gear and all, right? Akilab, right? So now we have to select the specific rooms. So I'll select, let's say, maybe stairs, and because we have multiple selecting elements, like, so we need cafeteria and maybe uh the lobby, right? So we have three rooms. Now what I'll go for run, and all the, like, first of all, I like what it will do, it will create all the elements. So it will create all the views and like your elevation and section, like elevation markers will be there in the middle over here. And if I go to property, like project browser, so over here you can just observe over here all the plans related to the rooms are created separately like this, right? And your elevations also have been created. And with this, you can actually provide view templates also through Dynamo only, right? So this is like some of the examples like how Dynamo can be useful for documentation, right? So if you want to know about more, so we have two courses which is like beneficial for you. So like so we have like uh, first BIM for design course, in which we actually discussed about the full BIM implementation on the live project from like if you are developing a design, if you're creating the like different complex structures. In this also we provide Dynamo, right? And this is actually a full course for architects, civil engineers, interior designers, and BIM enthusiasts. Next is for the advanced Dynamo for design. So this actually course is for like those who have uh, main knowledge on Revit related to families, categories, as well as how to create different parameters like project parameters and shared parameters. And over here we discuss the advanced part of the Dynamo, where we have like uh, energy, like advanced like adaptive simulation, Dynamo player, quantity calculations through Dynamo. So this is the advanced part of the Dynamo. So if you want to know about, so like, so we have like you can take this snapshot for over here. So like connect at the capricorn.com is the like is the email ID. You if you have any query regarding this, so you can actually uh, just give the, like, just email that. So now let's have a Q&A session, right? So if you have any questions, uh, just provide the Q&A, like provide the question in the Q&A chat box if you have any. So if you have any questions related to the today's workshop, so we have Kakan sir and me. So wait, if you have any questions, we can discuss.
Okay, thank you so much. So, thank you, guys, for attending. Thank you, Gagan sir, for for the like great knowledge on how we can use Dynamo for documentation point of view. Right? Thank you, sir, for
Thank you, Prakriti. Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you all for joining the session.
Thank you, sir. So let's end this session here for today. Okay.
Yeah,
So bye
yeah.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.